What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Guys of Texas. We are in week 4 game preview mode. Texas is going to be, number 1 ranked in the country. Texas is going to be taking on University of Louisiana Monroe. They are 2-0 on the season. They beat Jackson State 30-14. They beat UAB 32-6, which, by the way, UAB ran with Arkansas for a good amount. 37-27 was the final score in that game, but UAB definitely ran with them for a good while in that game. So not exactly a full slouch team, but Arkansas is also not good this year right now. So that take for that what you will. Yeah, John, I'm going to let you talk about who plays for who, since you wanted to talk about it last episode and we made you stop.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize that the Oklahoma transfer, General Booty,
Yes,
got to be the best name in college football. Transferred to Louisiana Monroe. So I was gonna spoil that on our last one, but I decided to hold off for the preview. So I mean, and looking at that team, I mean, no turnovers for them on the season, which is impressive. And then if you look at their running back room, I mean, they have 3 running backs that have gotten a lot of carries, and they're all about the same size. It's about 5'11", 200 pounds. Seems like they got a lot of speed. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see. I mean, I think this is a little bit better team than a UTSA team, just on paper. So that'd be kind of interesting to see how this pans out. But yeah, General Booty leading the charge over there.
that's fantastic. 2 years ago, we were in the Cotton Bowl chanting "We want Booty" because they were getting demolished so bad, and Texas beat them so bad they moved him down to Louisiana Monroe. I can't believe he went that far backwards. Like, I mean, how do you go from Oklahoma down to Louisiana Monroe? That's kind of wild, to be honest.
It is. I mean, I felt like there was a lot of hype behind him when he first got there.
Mm-hmm.
Surprised to see him at ULM.
Yeah, I know he's
Yeah.
from Shreveport when I was looking it up, so maybe that has something to do with a little
Homesick.
homesick.
Yeah, he's homesick. Needs
I mean, it
the
is weird to
kid.
follow some of these players and where they end up landing. Like, I was really shocked to see Denver Harris, who was like the 5-star cornerback or safety that I like wanted so bad at Texas. He ended up going to A&M, and all of a sudden he was on UTSA the other day.
Right.
What in the world? Just interesting to see where they all fall.
Well, and I think a lot of it has to do with maybe a little bit with the transfer portal, the way everything goes. I mean, I remember it was right up to game time for the first games of the year, and there was still like 1,500 guys in the portal.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's these guys are taking a chance at trying to get to a bigger school and then realizing, oh wait, no one wants me. And so by the time all those rosters are already full, now they've got to go down a little bit. So I think that might have something to do with it a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it creates a different aspect for sure. As you talked about, the Warhawks they're run oriented. Like, I think they had 200 yards rushing, and I think they had like 8 guys rushing. They had 5 or 6, and up to the 20 yards and up for their last game. So they are very heavy rushing defense or rushing offense. They don't pass the ball a whole lot. At least don't have success doing that. So it'll be good to see, because Texas last year was a very solid run defense team. Last game you saw them breaking off a few runs. As we are sitting in zone coverage also. So it'll be interesting to see kind of the game plan and how they do that. I'm sure, that heat's going to get us again. It's going to be a big factor in the game. It's going to be 97 degrees at game time. So, they're going to be trading a lot of players out. Like Sark is going into this game just hoping no one else gets injured at this point. Like, you think about like the couple of different injuries last week with Quinn. I mean, Baxter's been out all year. The injury bug has bit us and a couple other teams, but we haven't stopped a beat from our end. I mean, we haven't had major injuries yet, knock on wood, but these are the games that you really can get hurt with how hot it is on the field. So we got to be careful of that. What else we looking for this game?
Improvement from not improvement from Arch. Arch looked phenomenal, but just like the game management development from Arch, just seeing how well he can just like stay calm in the pocket and not try to be superhero to the team. It was phenomenal to watch him break off runs like that, but if he could really start to put some pocket composure together is what I want to see most out of him. Just to get confidence in that.
What's crazy is you really saw, like, even when he's backed up on the goal line, he did sit in that pocket. I think that's part of the problem is he didn't know when to get rid of it.
Right.
There were a couple times where he knew the play needed to develop and knew he had the offensive line he did, but, he can't get away with that with every team. And he can get away with it this week. I mean, Mississippi State, he's probably not even going to be able to get away with a lot of that stuff. As bad as they are, like, they're going to get to the quarterback. So he will have to work on that. And I was thinking about this. So now Arch is playing. We came out. Quinn has abdominal strain officially. Looks like he's week to week. He's going to sit out this week. He's more than likely going to sit out against Mississippi State, I think. If he does play, he'll play the first half. And then you've got the bye week on to Oklahoma. So that being said, now everyone's on. Oh, well, Arch just needs to stay in there. Like, it's all social media is right now, and it's absurd. But here comes this argument of, we need to play Arch. And it reminded me a little bit, not the same factor, but of Chris Sims and Major Applewhite days. You remember Chris Sims, he didn't have it. He was that guy that was supposed to have it. And then from what I remember at Oklahoma, he came out and Major Applewhite came in the game and started slinging it. And then that's when it really started becoming an issue of like, hey, Major Applewhite needs to be playing. He needs to be starting. And I don't see it as the same thing. It's not, because Chris Sims was not very good. But it still leaves the debate of now you've got all these Texas fans that are all in. It's going to be absurd, like, listening to all these people. And the second we go to a big time team that like Mississippi State and there's one little error, why is he playing? Put Arch in. I'm going to tell you right now, anybody that's watching this and you start doing that, go ahead and leave, because we need you. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm putting my foot down for Quinn. Zach, that includes you. Maybe I'll get a text later on about that.
Yeah. I mean, the disrespect for Quinn right now is absurd in my mind. I mean, this guy coming out of that Michigan game, everybody was hyped on him, saying that he was the favorite for the Heisman. And now all of a sudden he goes down, which he played pretty well in that game when he was in there. I mean, he looked decent outside that interception. And then, dude, the hype on Arch is just crazy. I mean, this entire week, that's all I've been seeing on my feed is there a quarterback controversy? Should Texas stick with Arch? And I'm like, dude, we're talking about 3 quarters of play against UTSA at the end of the day. Like,
7 days after we were calling him the Heisman frontrunner.
Yeah.
And how are you going to post the number one picture? Hey, Texas number one, you're going to post him on it, not Quinn.
Like, how
are you going to do that? At least put Sark on there, anybody. Like, this is ridiculous.
Did you see the Heisman odds right now? Quinn and Arch are both at plus 2,000.
How crazy is that? What if they both made it to New York?
And I'm like,
how in tandem? That'd be crazy.
Impossible.
It's just absurd.
Yeah, it's who knows what the season holds. I mean, it's a long. Now, again, we are not saying Arch is bad. We know Arch has skill that no other quarterback has. We know that. However, he's got to hone that in. So Arch is our future. We are all in on Arch when it's his time. But right now, it is not his time. That's what we're saying. So don't even start coming into the comments. Oh, what do you hate Arch? No, I don't. Now also we need to give credit to Bond, because Bond ran 22 miles an hour on that end around. So we need to make sure Arch wasn't the fastest on the field. He just was the fastest Manning of all time. So
easily.
Have y'all seen? Was there any news about Kelvin Banks? And I mean, I know he was injured for a little while in the game, But he came back in. Was there any word about him at all?
I haven't seen anything. I can look it up and see.
Yeah, I was looking at the injury report and I didn't see anything that I can think of.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about it during the week, and I was just curious because I remember that happening and just thinking about he hadn't been hurt a single time since he's been here.
For sure.
Yeah, no, there's literally nothing on any of it. So no.
Great.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. I can't get over Simmons and how good he's been. Like that kid's going to be a stud for a while. Trey Moore, I think we got better on that end a little bit on the edge.
Yeah.
Our defense is looking solid. And then you have our new Lambeau representatives. Did y'all see that?
Taff and Bond.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that brings some players in. I'll tell you, but I mean, how if you're the Lambeau, how do you decide who? What about Arch? What about Quinn? Like, what are these guys getting sponsored by? Range Rover? Oh wait, no, Quinn's got the Aston Martin. I think he got that. Yeah, he got that custom Aston Martin.
I don't know.
Custom orange leather.
Was cycling through them.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to have that as one of our player sponsors is that.
Yeah.
Like it's a little much, to be honest.
I mean, I wouldn't be turning them down though.
No. Well, speaking of, we'll just go ahead and dive right into a little bit of that. Tennessee comes out and says, "Hey, we're going to put 10% talent fee on our tickets starting in 2025." What?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It sounds absurd, but at the same time, I feel like everybody's doing it and they're just not making a statement of it.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to do the exact same thing, and Tennessee's just like,
Which I agree.
So,
I mean, I can't remember the last time I actually paid for a real ticket from UT. Every ticket that I've ever bought is off a third party for Texas. So realistically, that's going to hit the season ticket holders, which I'm sure they're going to be very pissed off at because they pay a license and everything else just to have the option to buy season tickets. So now you're adding this on. It's like, okay. Someone else, who was it that made the comment of, what if your team's bad?
Yeah, you get a refund.
Yeah.
For the talent.
Yeah, do I get a 5% discount when my team doesn't score 30 points?
Florida State better be sending Christmas presents right now for the way their team's acting. Like, if I'm paying a talent fee for that, I don't know where that money's going. And that's the other thing. Like,
yeah, they're projecting that that 10% would end up being somewhere in the range of $22 to $24 million that goes in directly to the players.
Yeah,
that's
which
crazy.
Is, I mean, pretty staggering amount. Like, I was just like, good grief, man.
Are they just divide? Are they going to divide it evenly amongst players?
Or are that's the thing. How do you spend that?
I don't know. And the collectives aren't going away either. That's still going to be another place that's funneling money to players.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
This is why I was not all on board with paying the players the way it came out. I'm okay with paying the players for using their name and likeness, all of that. Like showing up to appearances and all that. Having the sponsors, like basically it's just a workaround. I mean, is all it is. And I think it's getting so out of hand, like eventually like Congress will step in, because I know they had been like talking about it and they're starting to meet about it. But eventually rules are going to have to change with how absurd this is, because college doesn't mean a thing anymore. Like the actual education means nothing. These guys are dropping scholarships left and right to go to the portal because they're going to make more money in NIL than they are on scholarship.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's getting way out of hand, in my opinion, and it's ruining college football. Now it's because what sucks is Sark has been building this team for a few years now, but this NIL and the transfer portal, everything came along at the same time, which he's using. But now everyone's like, oh, you just bought your team. Well, that's not the case. Number one, we've been developing these players for a little while now. But number two, like Texas hasn't spent money like they should, like they could. Like they've been more worried about developing and building the culture. And that's why players are coming, because at the end of the day, they do want to win, but they also want that paycheck. And I think that was a little bit to do with why Quinn stayed this year. without going to the draft because he knew what his financial gain would be if he went to the draft versus staying here one more year. That he brings his stock up for the draft, and then he also is getting paid to do that now. So there's a lot of different decisions that are being made with that now. So
Yeah, I mean, they really swung from one extreme to the other with the
yes,
NCAA. I mean, I think we all felt that it was coming. We felt like the players deserved to get paid to some extent.
yes,
But now it's swung so hard that that now we're sitting here like, dang, there's got to be some kind of cap on this.
oh
Like,
yeah.
this is going to get out of control quick. I mean, it kind of already has, to be honest with you. So, and it kind of sucks. I sent that video to y'all about I'm blanking on the school that it is now, but the coach where he was talking about how they
Oh,
have
Marshall.
have the
yeah.
the crackers or whatever they are. Or
Oh,
Biscuits.
absolutely.
And I started just laughing about that, but at the same time, it's kind of sad because it's like, dang, dude, what do you got to offer if you're at some of these schools where you don't have these big boosters?
Biscuits.
I got.
Hey, man, that would have been a
dude.
pool 5 years ago.
Yeah,
That's true.
exactly.
I mean, it may still. It was a pretty funny line. Do look like freaking Carl Winslow.
Yeah, it's I think that whole thing is getting out of hand now, so something's gotta change. But for now, I mean, we've got the money. I mean, we've already got the team that we want right now. So we're just going to keep doing our thing. It benefits Texas, but it screws these small schools, and that's what sucks. Like, I mean, there's just no UTSA got railroaded with players leaving from the last couple of years to now. So I mean, it's really ruining that end. But then you've got guys like Texas State. Like, I don't know how they're doing it, but they're finding a way somehow to get talent still. So it'll be interesting.
Dude, that head coach better jump ship after the season he's having right now. Take that payday and run.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna get gutted by the portal for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's what. Do you guys have anything else to talk about with the Louisiana Monroe game? Because I really don't. Like, I want to move on to another. This segues into another topic. I just want to make sure before we leave the Louisiana Monroe game, we don't have anything else we want to talk about there.
My one callback isn't about ULM, but from last week's game. Did y'all find it hilarious the way that Ethan Burke ran into the end zone last week on that?
Yes. Yeah, Sark even commented on it. Sark literally said, we're going to have to train him on how to actually dive into the end zone. He made sure that was part of his press conference after the game.
He looks so ridiculous. Yeah, I cracked up about it multiple times.
Talking about coaches, though. So Texas State coach, we're saying, hey, he's got to go, right? Florida State's about to open up. Florida is about to open up. Like those two. State? Yeah, Florida. How do you keep him at this point? Like by the end of the year, like Florida right now is begging. Man. Florida's begging to keep him right now by the time that they actually play, because Florida wants to railroad them and make sure he gets his last goodbye. But right now, there's a lot of people talking about Lane Kiffin going to Florida.
Yeah,
it can't happen because the portal closes in December. Lane, if he's in the playoffs, is not going to leave. Now, if he doesn't make the playoffs, sure, why not? But the day and age of coaches just leaving at the end of the year, like that's a tough thing to do. Like you can't switch in January when the portal's already closed out, and like you can pick up guys, but those guys the big guys have already gone. And then going to Florida, most of those guys in Florida at that point in the game are already gone also. If you're good at Florida and you're playing the way you are, you're out. So he's going to have nobody on the team by the end of that.
Yeah, it makes the coaching carousel a lot more difficult with the timing of everything. I mean, that whole scenario of the portal and playoffs player-wise or coach-wise seems insane. I keep hearing people talk about what we need to do, but nothing from like actual administration that they're looking into it or governing body that they're looking into it. I mean, what can you do? It's ridiculous. Just like Malik not being able to be with our team last year because he had to transfer and not get to finish the run that we were on as a team. It's crazy.
Have you heard of the coach that is interested in the job?
Which one?
Come out and said. Mm-hmm.
I know Urban Meyer said that ship has sailed. So
yeah, no, Mr. Gruden. Well, John Gruden is interested in going to
Okay.
coach
John
at college
Gruden.
football. He has come out and has said, "Yeah, I mean,
That's not a bad
he's
thing, man.
yeah." He said his dad coached at I think Pitt or Pitt State. But yeah, he's come out and said that he wants to coach football. I think, honestly, like I think it'd be good for him to go. I think he'd be a good college coach again. Like I think has he ever coached college or has he always been NFL?
I don't know.
Not to my knowledge.
I
Has
don't
he
think he's coached college.
college.
I think I can see that benefiting
Yeah,
on
I
that
can
end.
see
Now
that.
he's still got to get past all his comments. The reason why he,
Emails.
yeah,
I think it's been long enough, right? People kind of
yeah,
forgot.
yeah. I think
I would love
yeah,
to see more Gruden impersonations again. Those were great.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like can you imagine him just on the sidelines of Florida? Like
Yeah.
that'd be some gold interviews. Better execution.
I could definitely see that. I mean, I know there was that rumor for a little while that when Texas was really looking for somebody, his name came up, but it was right around the same time that all the email scandal thing came up. So that ship sailed pretty quick. But I mean, Florida needs somebody that's going to come in there and just be stern, a lot of discipline, because I feel like that team's just got to be off the wall right now. Like, there's no way that he's controlling that team by any means. I can't imagine what it's like there right now. So,
yeah,
there's no way he makes it to the end of the season. I think they said 28 million for him to get bought out, and Norvell is in the 60s. So,
It's just another Jimbo. It's fine.
Yeah, it's just another Jimbo.
A&M survived, right?
Kind of.
So, speaking of,
well, we don't know yet.
Yeah, but we saw that I sent a tweet out to the boys and in the old message boards of the Aggies. Yeah, Archie's run of breaking his ankles, it was a good run, but Reed really broke Florida's ankles when he was running the ball. I prefer Reed over Arch all day.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was like after reviewing the tape, the player's ankles were just fine.
Yeah, it's like, wait, what, bro?
How bad did you break his ankles?
I had some buddies that were like, "Oh, you remember the last time a redshirt freshman came in to start a game for the Aggies?" I do. These guys are already crowning him Johnny Manziel.
Okay.
What are we doing? And we talked about this. I said this. I said, look, A&M every year, they come in, they've got a quarterback they like. That quarterback sucks. That quarterback gets hurt. He sits out a game. Here comes the new guy. Oh, we're all in on the new guy. Screw you, Wegman. No. Like, it's every single year with these guys. Like, they can't make up their mind.
I'm not surprised. Aggie's gonna Aggie, man.
It's desperation. That's what it is, man. They're still riding the high from Johnny football. That they're still looking for something like that. It's just Johnny football was a once in a generation type guy. You're not going to see somebody like him again, you know. So, they're searching for something. They're desperate for it, and it's not coming anytime soon.
Man, I miss. We hadn't paid any attention to A&M for the last 10, 15 years, just because we never played them. We don't care about them. Now that we're back with them, watching those message boards is probably the greatest entertainment you could ever have. Like it's pretty incredible, the stuff that they put in there. Now, I'm sure Texas message boards are the same. I haven't looked at those. I only like to go to the drama one and get the tea, but it's such good reads.
Dude, I have to, like that message board on Twitter. I think A&M probably gets featured more than anybody else. They have.
Oh, yes.
It's constant. The crap that they're saying. Every once in a while, I'll see a Texas pop up. I'm like, oh, that's embarrassing. they are kings.
Recruiting wise, Jonah Williams, our safety, he moves to a 5-star. I don't know if you guys saw that. But he has now moved up to a 5-star. And also we've got that Florida. Speaking of Florida, they have a decommit, a defensive tackle. Joseph, I'm going to screw up Mabachu. I'm going to screw that last name up. But he was at the game at UTSA, and so he's interested in coming now too. So it's
interesting
that we're continuing on the move, boys. Like the recruiting is just continuing, and I don't know, man. There was on a wide receiver. I watched a video. I can't remember his name. but he was at the game last week too, and he just talks nothing about like how Wingo and Bond are going to do well, like how Arch spreads the ball, like that's why he wants to go to Texas because they spread the ball out. And the guy interviewing was like, I mean, you're very similar to Bond. What did you think about his breakaway? He goes, oh yeah, we're very much alike. I can't remember his name right now, but he was being interviewed at his practice facility wherever he's going to high school, and he was all in already. Just, I mean, it's pretty tough not to watch these games and just go to the stadium. That atmosphere I watched the Texas fight with just the phone lights. Seeing that many people for a game at UTSA is crazy. Like, we're back. We're fully back, boys.
The atmosphere at Georgia is going to be insane.
Oh,
because I still have not experienced a night game since they've done all the improvements.
Oh, dude, I got chills the second it finally happened. The touchdown happened, and the lights go crazy. Like I was like, oh,
so cool.
I could see the Georgia game just being nutty.
That'd be insane.
Oh, I can't wait. Other games to watch. We do have a couple of decent games, I would say, coming up. One of our little guys is going to get run over this weekend. Number 6 Tennessee heads to Oklahoma. Number 15 Tennessee is -7 for that game at Oklahoma. So you're basically a 10-point. Yeah, it's going to get ugly quick, I believe. Now we're going to get to see who Tennessee really is. You know, they had a little bit against NC State, but we'll get to see a little bit what, you know, their defense. Oklahoma's defense is still okay, but their offense is bad. So we're going to really see what both teams are made of. But I'm interested more in seeing about Tennessee than I am about Oklahoma. We kind of know what Oklahoma is right now, but Tennessee, I'm interested to see how they actually, if they can actually put it all together, you know, because, you know, they played Oklahoma last year, didn't they? I think they played Oklahoma last year and lost in Tennessee. No,
they did.
Was it
recently?
Yeah, it was recently they played. It may not have been last year, but
it may have been the year before. But yeah, it was recent.
I was going to say the only major out of conference game that they were supposed to have last year was supposed to be Georgia, and they backed out like little pansies.
I'm going to find it now. Oh, gee. Oklahoma hosting Tennessee. That was a long time ago, but I thought it was not too long ago that they had.
I swear that was like a year or two ago.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll find it. But as far as Tennessee goes, like that's going to be, and how weird is it going to be with Josh Heupel coming in? Like you're going to be like, talking trash to one of your guys you love. Like it's going to be those two fan bases, like it's going to be kind of fun to watch on social media this weekend. Like they're going to both go crazy, no matter how the turnout is. So one side is going to be very, very ragey.
Could you imagine Major Applewhite coming back in here as a head coach somewhere else and like beat the brakes off of us?
Oh yeah, that'd
be terrible.
That'd be awful. Yeah, we have. Let's see. There's a Friday game I thought that was going to be decent. Nebraska, Illinois, 22 Nebraska versus 24 Illinois. Nebraska is -7.5 there. We'll kind of see what both of those teams are made of too. Nebraska, I'm leaning more towards Nebraska on that end than I am Illinois, especially being at home. But we'll finally see a little bit of what Nebraska has. They played Colorado, which Colorado is not very good. But yeah, I'm excited to see Nebraska.
It's crazy that Nebraska starts out the year with 4 straight home games. I don't know if y'all saw that.
Well, we only had one.
I know, but at least we went to the big house. Like,
it was true.
You're supposed to have one, I feel like, true road game in your non-conference, and all their non-conference are at home. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to look at their schedule. I mean, they do have to travel to Ohio State and USC. So, I mean, there's a couple of tough road games there, but I mean, I just think it's kind of weird looking at 4 straight home games to start the year.
Yeah, but think about our schedule. We're at home Colorado State, Michigan, at home UTSA, at home Monroe, at home Mississippi State, neutral site Oklahoma, at home Georgia. Then we finally go to Vanderbilt. Like our schedule is just as
first
bad.
half.
Like it is loaded in the first half. And I mean, even after that, we only have 2 more road games. We go home, away, home, away.
Yeah.
So our schedule favored us a bunch, but it's also that Oklahoma neutral site game that kind of adds to that. Although that's not a normal neutral site even for the Oklahoma game. Like, you think about A&M and Arkansas, that's a neutral site. That's like, there's not going to be an advantage either direction. There's still an advantage. This, like, the crowd base, because of that, you have half your home team there basically. And if your team's doing well, the adrenaline rush you get from that momentum factor is huge in that game specifically. It's different to me than like playing at Jerry World, because Jerry World, you can't hear anything. Like it's like you're in a library almost with that stadium. Like it doesn't get loud.
Yeah.
But what else? Utah, Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I was about to say Utah, Oklahoma State's interesting. I was looking up on that one. I put in there that Cameron Rising is 25 years old and Bowman's 24 years old. And they were talking about that earlier because we have a game on Sunday in the NFL versus the Bears and the Colts, which is a 22-year-old Richardson and a 22-year-old Caleb Williams. So they were just talking about how college football is now with these guys sticking around for so long. I mean, that's crazy to me, dude. 25 years old, starting quarterback. But that's a big game for the Big 12. Kind of shapes up to be a good matchup between those two. So.
What do y'all think about Clemson being a 20.5 point favorite over NC State?
Yeah, I saw that and I was very shocked at that. Like, I don't.
Yeah, it's one of my picks.
My bad.
No, you're good. We can spoil it early. I'll be like TJ this week and spoil.
Yeah, that's early. Right. Don't do that because I went 0-3. I'm pretty sure.
Dude, we all struggled last week. We'll get to it, but we all struggled. That USC Michigan game is interesting. Seeing a USC team that's got, they kind of got a little pep in their step right now after, a good start to the year. And Michigan's kind of searching right now for their identity. They got Orgy starting this week. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see if Michigan can bounce back.
Yeah, Michigan didn't make this. I think they're a 5 or 6 loss team this year. That's just going to send them down the spiral. The biggest thing for me is making sure their defense can actually show up this time. Like, again, we talked about, they have good defensive players, but they've got to actually gel together and play team defense versus individual defense.
Yeah, for sure. Game.
Moss is going to be the interesting one to see there. He's done really well. It'll be interesting to see him how he does there. And I mean, if USC, looking at their schedule, USC makes it past this, I mean, you've got Wisconsin, Minnesota, Penn State would be your next big one. Then you got Maryland, Rutgers, Washington, and then Nebraska, UCLA, Notre Dame. So UCLA gets past this, or USC gets past this, and you're sitting pretty decent at a possible playoff spot.
Yeah. Absolutely.
At least get them in the Big Ten championship. So, that'll be interesting to see. What are the games? Any other games that pop out? I went through. This is another one of those. The Texas Tech Arizona State game kind of popped out to me. Texas Tech finally bounced back a little bit last week. I think that'll be a good game there.
They get Micah Hudson involved last week. I never went and looked.
I didn't see.
Yeah, I didn't see either.
Let me look.
Texas Tech.
Micah Hudson went 3 receptions for 43 yards. 32 was his longest. Corey Eakin
do something. He's going to transfer.
Yeah, that's going to be. I don't know. I mean, Texas Tech against UNT. There's 273 passing yards, or 354 total. Morton had 273 with 4 TDs, went 15 for 19. But they spread the ball around a lot. They had 1, 2, 3, 4. 12 different receivers in that game. So they definitely spread it around a bunch against UNT. But same game plan as Texas has right now, just kind of get by. I thought that was going to be a closer game, though, for sure.
There's not a whole lot of like top tier matchups, but there's some of these teams that are interesting. I mean, like Kansas, West Virginia looks interesting. Just based off of both of those teams started out.
Morgantown.
Not how we started. Yeah, Morgantown. But there was a lot of hype on Kansas this year. I feel like they were talking about Daniels coming back, and they returned a lot of guys, kind of momentum from last season, and starting out 1-2. Man, that sucks, man. Kansas back to being Kansas.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Auburn, Arkansas.
Daniels cannot throw the ball.
Yeah, it's
like everybody just figured out to let him run and shut down the pass, and they beat themselves.
Yeah.
Kansas State BYU looks like it'd be pretty. I think that's a pretty evenly matched game. It could be fun.
Yeah, I think Auburn, Arkansas. I think Auburn ends up winning that game, actually, I don't know.
Auburn's favored by 3.
That'll be I think that'll be a good game. What else?
Where are they playing at Auburn?
They're playing at Auburn, yeah.
You got TCU, SMU.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good game too.
The DFW area there. That'll be kind of fun to see. That I think it's in SMU.
Oh, dude, Florida, Mississippi State. That's just going to be a slop fest. You tell me you don't want to see how terrible that game is?
Yeah.
-6.
That's going to be like a train wreck.
God.
Colorado, Baylor. Baylor going into Boulder.
Is that Boulder?
I've never rooted for Baylor harder in my life.
Yeah, Colorado's a 1.5 point favorite there. I will be all in on Baylor. Yeah.
That's close.
All right. Well, let's get to I guess let's get to some picks. We'll go over last week. South Carolina. Oh, I went 1-2. So I had Arizona +7 over K-State, wrong. Oregon State +16.5 over Oregon, very wrong. And then I went South Carolina +7 over LSU. Luckily, they covered after giving up the lead. Seth went 1-2, had Arkansas State +23. And then Jono went over.
I felt good about 2 of them too. Freaking TCU was up big, and then they choked it away. Tulane.
Oh, the TCU one was wild.
Yeah,
it was.
It sucks, man. It was a tough week for me. 0-3.
So overall record.
Thanks for stealing that Tulane pick from me.
Definitely would have taken it.
Yeah. No, you had Tulane also. I have you at Tulane straight up.
Oh, yeah.
Check Tulane straight
up. See, I would.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even further with it.
So 5-4, 5-4 are myself and Seth, and Jono's at 3-6. So Jono, you're
hanging.
Up. You're up from the bottom. We did the same thing last year, and you came rolling right back. So.
I'll roll right back. I'll go with my picks first since I'm at the bottom of the barrel. I got NC State to cover. We talked about that. I think that game will be closer. I don't see Clemson pulling away and dominating that game. I got North Carolina to cover over James Madison. It's at 10.5 right now. I think old Mac gets it done big. And then my last one is I got Oklahoma State over Utah, which Utah is currently the small favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
Seth? What do you got?
I mean, after Ollie Gordon disappointed us so much last weekend, I agree with that pick. So parlay breaker. My picks. I'm going to go Nebraska to cover the -7.5 against Illinois. I don't know anything about Illinois, but I like what's happening in Nebraska right now, and fake Patrick Mahomes is going to take him there. USC to cover -5 against Michigan. I think USC's really figured it out. And Michigan can, as much as I would love Michigan to look really good and make us look better, Screw it. I want Dave Portnoy to cry, and USC's going to cover.
Fun
And
fact:
then,
that game. Hold on. Fun fact: that game started at -6.5 USC. It has dropped a 1.5 already. Just so you know.
Okay,
Interesting.
I'm happy with it. And then Tennessee to cover. I mean, I'm just picking all covers here. Tennessee to cover -7 over Oklahoma, and that one's going to be the easiest one of them all.
Yep. That will. Go ahead and put your paycheck on that one. I am taking Washington to bounce back from last week's loss over Northwestern. Northwestern looks terrible. Washington is -10.5 there. I'm taking Arizona State to beat Texas Tech, not to beat Texas Tech, just to cover the +3.
Gotcha.
And I'm taking Arkansas to win against Auburn in Auburn.
In Auburn.
It's always Arkansas with you, man.
I'm telling you right now, they cover. Well, the -3, by that point, you might as well just bet the win. So I'm going all in on Arkansas this week. They're covering machines. I don't normally pick them to actually win. I just pick them to cover.
Yeah.
This one, I'm picking them to win. So
I'm
let's
looking
see.
forward to being in first place next week.
Well, you thought that last week too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I want to look at some player props real quick. Let's see what they have. Yeah. I don't even know if
you're just sourcing your props from Sleeper.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a few
on an app. Okay, we do not free promo. Okay.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Yeah. No free promotion here.
Travis Hunter, anytime over 0.5. I'm taking that all day.
I don't even think we can even do the Texas game on here.
They don't.
Yeah, there was nothing.
They don't even have it listed. So, well, there's that.
I got Kyle McCord, Syracuse quarterback, over 2.5 touchdowns. He's had 4 touchdowns the last 2 weeks. So I'm taking him over. That's one of my picks. I got Arnold throwing a pick. It's at 0.5 right now. It worked out for me last week. I'm going to roll with it again this week with Arnold throwing a pick. And then I got Orgy over on rushing. I'm going to stick with the quarterback rushing this week. I think Michigan's not going to be able to throw the ball. I think they're going to have to stick to the run. So I got Orgy 43.5.
Write these down. I need to set some more lineups.
And then I think the easiest pick this week is going to be Sampson, anytime touchdown for Tennessee. I don't know if y'all seen some of the stuff he's been doing, but he's a freaking monster. He had 4 touchdowns last week, 2 the week before, I think 3 in the opening game. So he's been a freaking monster for them, and they've been putting up a lot of points. So I think that's going to be easy money.
Also easy money. Leva. I screwed that up probably. Still can't say it. Passing 1.5 TDs. Yes.
I saw that.
You can put that in the bank. That's going to happen.
Yeah, I had that one written down.
The Loveland screwed me last week. He did not do so hot. What's his passing yards at? Or his receiving yards? Let's see. Loveland is not even on here. Cool. Good. Can't even bet on him. I noticed a lot of this stuff disappeared after we did this last Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And by even game day, of the morning, you couldn't bet on half the stuff that was because so many people had bet on it already.
They take a lot of stuff off. The current top 2 betting picks that I'm seeing is Travis Hunter, anytime touchdown, and Raiola is at 217 for passing yards, and people are hammering the over with him.
I need Texas to hurry up with this whole gambling situation. I'm sick of that. The sleeper app is terrible. I would have bet on Arch Manning all day last week because we had talked about it. We said he was going to come in worst case at the beginning of the second half. Yeah. I mean, I would have cashed so much from Arch last week, but we don't live in a betting state. So we only have sweepstakes is what we call them. Yes.
Player betting.
Player.
Fantasy.
Yeah, it's right. Fantasy football. All right. Let's anything else on games, picks, anything like that?
I think we
No.
covered it all.
I think we're good,
Okay.
man.
Let's move on to the game that we kind of care about the most. Texas is favored by 44.5 points. Over under for the game is 52.5. What do you guys got for a score prediction?
I'll go 55-11. We're going to let him get a touchdown and one field goal.
11.
Yeah.
How we
What?
get? How we
10.
get?
10.
How
My
did-
bad. My
Nope,
bad.
nope.
How we
It
get-
says
you
11.
said
It's on the
11?
sheet. It
My
said
bad.
11.
My
So
bad.
you,
How are we getting
I
Man,
was like,
I blanked hard
how is
there.
that math?
I blanked hard there.
Yeah, that one hurt my head. Okay, 55-10. Okay.
We go for
John, what do you got?
10. I got Texas 45, Louisiana Monroe 7.
Okay. I have the over at 52.5. I have the over of Texas. 44.5 winning by. I have that as well. And I have Texas winning 52-3. I think
pretty
we
solid.
continue to roll. We get to see a lot of Trey Owens next week or this week coming up. Like he will play in the second half. So I'm excited to see that. I do think that it'll probably be just fourth quarter for him because they want to get Arch these reps and get him really acclimated to playing full game and getting all that. So, but we'll get to see him a little bit. So I think overall it'll be a very good game for
I'm interested to
us,
see
not
how.
for Monroe.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how we attack as far as rushing goes. I mean, it's been kind of a bizarre year as far as rushing goes for us. I mean, Gibson's leading us right now with 178 yards, and Blues behind him with 79 yards. We really still haven't seen a really great rushing performance, and that's what I'm kind of hoping to see this week from the team. We know Arch is going to do his thing, but I really hope we can establish a good run game this week and see hopefully Blue getting healthy and getting carries. And Gibson getting in there, Wisner. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are getting looks. I know that's why the stats are kind of skewed, but I'd really like to see somebody step up and kind of take control of that job.
I mean, Gibson,
Yeah.
the way he looked, Gibson was, again, like we talked about it last episode, it's like every run, it seemed like it was another first down. I was like, bro, and he's barreling through guys. He's finding a hole and then getting tackled, breaking the tackle, and getting the yardage. And so I've been impressed with him. Wisner last week, he got hurt on one of the plays, rolled his ankle. So he probably was limited through there too. And then Blue sat out the whole game. So I hear you. And I think that was it was a mixture of that and then getting Arch his game experience of throwing the ball with the actual starters and then bringing the backups in to get those as well, get those reps in. I think that was part of the game plan that shifted. But I think I do agree. Like it was weird because the first drive there were 0 runs. I feel like.
Right.
I feel like we didn't run the ball at all. So
that'll
that'll be good to see. But anything else?
No, I don't think so, man.
Looking forward to another game.
It's going to be good. We got this coming up, and then we've got Mississippi State, and then we've got a bye week. We will not be going live Saturday. I'm going to Dallas. I'm going to the last Ranger game on Sunday. So
Nice.
Might sneak into the Cowboys game next door also. Don't know yet. I didn't realize both of them were playing at the same time, so that'll be interesting to park. But yeah, so no live stream this weekend. We will pick it back up for the first SEC game next week when we host Mississippi State. But other than that, until then, we'll get another Texas dub, and we'll see you guys on Sunday. Hook 'em, boys.